Are we still getting all the vitamins and minerals we need for our health from our diet? Welcome, dear viewers, to Health Television. It's great to have you with us. There's a study from the USA that examined between the years 1975 and 1997 how the content of minerals and vital substances in fruits and vegetables has changed. And we have a loss of 40 to 50%. So we can see that we are by no means getting from the substances we cultivate what we once had. Therefore, it is probably essential to substitute. And today I have an expert with me, a micronutrient expert, Dr. Heinz Lüscher is with me, and I will ask him about this, and we'll see if he has brought any figures so that we can see where we stand today and what we really need for our health. See you shortly. Stay tuned. We will start shortly. Dear Heinz, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Dr. Heinz Lüscher from Wise Medicine in Winterthur. You have made micronutrients your focus because you've probably recognized for a long time that it's something we desperately need as building blocks in our body and no longer get today. It's so simple.
Our bodies are made up of what we've eaten over the last 20 years.
You are what you eat.
And this fact plays no role in medicine at all. If there is a disorder somewhere, then they look for medication and say, we need to do this. And we go back and say that if there is a disorder, then the engine in metabolism stutters, so some building block must be missing. And we look for this building block and replace it. It doesn't always go so easily, but that is the basic approach of integrative medicine.
Now, one might, I'll say, not necessarily blame conventional medicine because the doctor learns it in their studies, I believe. And it's not really, so it's a side note. And it is really necessary that, I'll say, the physician independently and on their own responsibility acquires more knowledge about it, right?
Yes, in the studies. Back then we had one semester of biochemistry. I can remember that. Everyone hated it. Why? Because it is so complicated. Biochemistry is really difficult. There are thousands of enzymes and cofactors and proteins and interleukins and cytokines. It's incredibly complicated. That's why I prefer to deal with how can I treat a heart attack. That is much easier to learn than biochemistry. And that's how every doctor feels, me included. I don't like biochemistry at all. It's really too difficult for me. But if we want to practice good medicine, then we have to at least deal with micronutrients and their function in the body. That is already a basis that most doctors lack.
After all, there are quite a few substances that our body cannot produce itself, which we definitely need to be supplied with from outside. But I've already hinted at how this has decreased in our food that we get today compared to earlier years. Carrots used to have 75% more magnesium than today, I have read, for example. It is often mentioned 60% less vitamin C than in the 1950 seconds. So it is already dramatic what we are losing there.
Yeah. But this is disputed when you watch medical TV shows on the public broadcasting channel.
Excuse the very brief interruption, dear viewers. But we would like to let you participate in a small excerpt from a special program that we have briefly summarized. And if you would like to watch the entire show, you will find the corresponding link in the description below. Enjoy.
After what we have
been through here for 3 years, we have a lot of inflammatory load in a body. And as a result of this inflammatory load, massive circulatory disorders occur on the vascular level. The OHT is a measure that plays a very important role in all chronic inflammatory processes. We notice that the load, the toxic load, is significantly minimized as a result. You gradually regain a piece of health through it.
It is always said that if you eat a balanced diet, you have everything you need. You hear that week after week. That is wrong. But as long as it is not acknowledged in medicine that we have micronutrient deficiencies, we will not change direction. And this is my concern for all those affected. We must start with the deficiencies in micronutrients and not with medications. Those only come when there's no other way.
We not only have the problem that it is not recognized that we are no longer getting enough from food, but also the, let's say, the values, the target values are set too low.
Partly, yes. I brought tables, but they are not for showing. I just want to read a few data from them. Here I have the micronutrient intake of the Swiss population divided into young, middle-aged, old people. Now, for example, I take vitamin C. Then we have the intake in young people at 100, in old people. In women, it is always slightly higher, about 120 milligrams per day. This is the current state of the Swiss population. It's certainly the same in Germany or Austria. The official guideline in Switzerland for vitamin C is 80 milligrams. This is said to be the required daily dose. In our integrative medicine, we know that humans need 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
Okay.
You previously mentioned substances that the body can produce itself. All vitamins are included in that. So vitamin C is a key substance. We know this from history. The sailors in the past, they got it broken. This is the disease that occurs when we don't take in any vitamin C. Now, we are taking, on average, 100 milligrams of vitamin C, which we get every day, and the minimum would be 500.
400 too little, definitely.
Yes. What happens now? There is no scurvy. We do have something. Yes, something. But you understand, the engine doesn't run smoothly, not 100%. It might only run at 92%. And over 30 years, it just has its effects. That is vitamin C now. Now let's take something else. Calcium, for example. Doctors prescribe calcium tablets over and over again. Practically from young to old, we are at 900 to 1,000 milligrams. That is the daily requirement. We are covered with calcium. Why? Because calcium is in milk, in water. There's calcium everywhere and in the vegetables too. This is now a macronutrient that doesn't cause any problems.
Okay.
It makes even less sense to portray osteoporosis as a result of a calcium deficiency. We really have enough. Another example, iodine. Highly toxic, right? Good. Intake in Switzerland, also here across all generations, is about the same at 90 to 100 micrograms. But the need for iodine is 200 micrograms. So our iodine supply, this is certainly true throughout Europe, is half of what the body requires. Our thyroid needs iodine to produce thyroid hormones. If we have too little iodine, then the thyroid goes into underfunction. This makes us tired. it slows down the metabolism. This has serious consequences over the course of life.
And it is so widespread.
Yes, totally. And then the thyroid grows a bit. They added iodine to the salt. That makes sense. I'm very much in favor of using iodized salt, but it's still not enough. Just as an example, with iodine, we're at half. Finally, the zinc. Interestingly, the amount is highest in young men. So around 12 milligrams. For seniors, around 9. Middle-aged, also around 9 to 12 milligrams of zinc per day. The requirement is 30 to 50 milligrams.
Okay.
And zinc plays a key role in the immune system. If we have too little zinc over the years, then the immune system is weakened. These are the few numbers of what we consume. And we can see, except for calcium, there's actually too little everywhere.
So, ergo, or as a conclusion, we would have to deduce from the few numbers we've now read or heard from you that we need vitamin C as a standard.
Yes, these are just examples, right?
Yes, this is not the whole range.
Of course, there are hundreds of micronutrients where it might not look any better.
But precisely where the guidelines for target values, I'll just say, are fundamentally set too low.
In part, I can come back to it. Regarding iodine, the authorities say I can only give Swiss figures, but I assume it's roughly the same everywhere. So for iodine, 150 micrograms is given as the upper limit. And from our point of view, 200 is the minimum. For zinc, 5 milligrams are indicated as sufficient. We had Dean. Do you understand when the authorities, of course, see such numbers, or even doctors who then appear on TV shows saying we have enough, we need 5 and have 10? But the reality is we need 30 to 50, and that's not acknowledged by the authorities. That's precisely micronutrient research, which gives us such numbers.
And it naturally frightens people who then say, yes, the official guideline is such, and why, if I take more now, I might poison myself, in quotation marks.
Exactly, so people trust the official data even though they are not correct. Many things are correct. I don't want to see distrust against authorities. That's not what I'm about. But in this area,
we also don't want to speculate about what's behind it. Instead, we want to enlighten.
Exactly. In the field of micronutrients, I find the regulatory requirements far too low. And that applies to the DGE, the German Nutrition Society, as well as Switzerland.
There are also where one would like to say, there are no specific or only a selection of disease patterns that can be attributed to deficiency. But actually, I would now say that micronutrient deficiency is involved in every disease, right? That is now my conviction.
Even up to cancer. There are many studies from the 82nd that actually prove that cancer is a metabolic disease. But they are completely ignored. I can understand that. It's all the more important that we educate. But the difficulty is making a dietary change appealing to people. Frisius taste good. Better than Brussels sprouts in the mouth. Cola tastes better than water.
As one is accustomed to.
For most people, not for me either, but for most people, we are accustomed from childhood to think that it has to taste sweet for us to find it good. And I tell all parents, just give your children.
Exactly. The bitter substances are bred out of the food.
Yes, that's part of it too. But it would be so easy until the children are 4 or 5 years old, when they go to kindergarten, to simply not offer sweets. It would be so easy. It's usually the grandparents who then listen afterwards. Here you have chocolate.
True, now that you say it like that. I actually have it like that in my circle of acquaintances, that young parents really value their children not getting sweets. I mean, sugar in excess.
Süßen, also Zucker im Übermaß bekommen, ne?
And then it's really just like the grandparents.
I made an effort not to buy sweets for a grandchild.
Okay, so you can start there and get something right.
But even if you have to change, now as an adult, people find it incredibly difficult. I see it too when we do colon cleanses. People have to hold the apples for 4 weeks. Practically no one gets through it, just 4 weeks. Let alone completely changing forever. If you do it, it's interesting. If someone is really used to pasta and meat and then chocolate, but no vegetables. If you now learn to switch to vegetables, if you've done it for 6 months, then you can hardly smell cake anymore.
I believe that.
Then you prefer vegetables to anything else? But it takes a longer period of time to get used to these new flavors.
Yes, humans are creatures of habit. That is certainly true for this or in that context.
I also think so. We have taste buds on the tongue. The sweet ones are very dominant. And to switch them back to bitter and sour takes time. But once it is achieved, then you love that taste.
It's also an addiction factor, logically. There's sugar addiction, carbohydrate addiction, and that's not really the need. Because some then go and say, I always feed myself what my body demands, that I give it.
That's a sensitive topic because that can also be true. So if the body demands sugar, then no. But maybe you know this from pregnant women, that they suddenly crave pickles or sour and so on. Unexplainable, right? That's called craving. That has been somewhat studied. You can't really explain that. There's no scientific explanation. For me, it's something divine. That the body craves a food that contains exactly the substances I'm missing. First of all, I don't know that. I don't know what I'm missing. And I don't know what's in the cucumber. That's not explainable with logic. But this phenomenon exists, that the body suddenly craves a food that contains exactly that.
But I do need to distinguish and not use it as an excuse that I now eat sweets. So, sorry, that's what I meant.
Except for sweets.
Exactly right. So what are the things now? You've already mentioned a few examples where we are definitely undersupplied, where you would say that definitely needs to, everyone needs that, no matter what age, that simply belongs to good healthcare nowadays.
Das gehört einfach heutzutage zu einer guten Versorgung für die Gesundheit.
So it's about the substances that occur in food. We need much more. We also need vitamin D. That has nothing to do with food. It's primarily the vitamins. Vitamins are frowned upon in conventional medicine. The fuss about vitamins is just a money-making scheme. To some extent, that's true. Just swallowing vitamins indiscriminately makes no sense. We've now seen with vitamin C that we really have a deficiency there. But now you shouldn't swallow tablets. Now you should just eat an orange in the winter, an apple every day. Then you're more than covered.
Yes, only in winter?
Yes, in summer then the berries and the apricots and everything. If you consume 2 or 3 fruits a day, you get enough vitamin C, although it is very low, as you also said in a study. I can also show another study otherwise. But the vitamins, they are necessary. The B vitamins, that's where it gets a bit more difficult. We sometimes have a deficiency, especially B12. Well, with vegetarians, they all have a B12 deficiency. But the other B vitamins are also important for the whole nervous system, for the psyche. So we need vitamins, and then there are essential amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, and the non-essential ones our body can produce itself. So if we eat a fried egg, then we have about 18 out of 20 amino acids in it. But the essentials are tendentially few in number, and the non-essentials are in the majority.
Also deswegen zusätzliche nicht essentielle
essential amino acids, that can be helpful, especially those who engage in intensive sports and so need an increased amount of essential amino acids.
Okay.
And then, of course, the minerals. Now, with calcium, I showed that we have enough. Or sodium and potassium, we usually have enough. There are also numbers here. I didn't want to mention everything. For sodium, we are at 3,000 per day. Potassium as well, so we are well supplied. But where we are undersupplied is with trace elements. So selenium, zinc, manganese, chromium, boron. People don't even know that we need that.
Nee.
We are in the range of maybe 1 milligram or even micrograms. Selenium, you only need 200 micrograms, so not even a gram. But if we lack that, we have a problem. The latest research shows that lithium is an essential pure element. We need 1 milligram of lithium per day for the brain. We can prevent dementia, we can prevent mental illnesses, we can prevent MS, Parkinson's with 1 milligram of lithium per day. But this is not even recognized in medicine as an important trace element.
Now, because you're just mentioning lithium, and I'm also thinking about Michael Nils, who has already advocated for lithium with us.
Uns auch schon für Lithium so für gesprochen hat.
Is it sensible now to take these individual substances or these individual substances separately?
Stoffe separiert zu sich zu nehmen?
Or is it more about the composition, the cofactors that are needed for everything to work as it should?
Die dann nötig sind, damit alles so funktionieren soll, wie
That's a very difficult question.
Of course, there are many such multi-products where everything is included.
ja.
All vitamins, minerals, trace elements, secondary plant substances, vitamin B complexes. That can make sense if you have a very unbalanced diet. Or we also know, for example, from retirement and nursing homes that the food supply there is really inadequate due to cost reasons. There it can make sense to take such a product daily. Then you have the basic supply.
Okay.
It's not something I recommend to everyone.
Ja, alles klar.
That doesn't make sense. One should proceed specifically. How do I specifically know that I only have a B6 deficiency? I don't know that. Then it has to be measured. These measurements are expensive and not covered by insurance. Recently, there was a show on Swiss television claiming that all vitamin measurements are pointless. When you hear such things, such nonsense, what can I say? We are the small minority that has a different opinion. But I see it from experience when I replace these micronutrients, when I measure and replace how well people are doing.
Yes, so in severe illnesses, I think you should value yourself and afford it and find ways to do something like this, because that's simply the best way. Such a micronutrient analysis, such an individual one.
Der beste Weg, ne? So eine Mikronährstoffanalyse, so eine individuelle.
Yes, exactly, you can do that. You can really measure the trace elements, vitamins, you can measure it all. But at your own expense. It costs several hundred euros if we want to measure it all. And then I would have to measure again after the substitution to see if it's higher now, and people don't want to spend that. Then I also say, okay, just take a poly product. I work here with the Vitality Shot. from King Nature. There, we really have everything well balanced. I worked on the composition, but there are many others that are also good. Take something like that if you're not sure. It's not possible to overdose. It doesn't contain that much. But also, let's say now I'm missing 3 vitamins and there are 7 in it. Yes, then I take the other 3.5 or 4 for nothing, but they don't harm me.
Okay.
But they're already, so you have to be careful. There are people who sometimes come with such a bag and say, these are all my supplements that I take, if I could take a look at them to see if it's correct.
Drüber schauen kann, ob das stimmt.
And then I have 5 products where there is magnesium everywhere, for example, or zinc everywhere. And when I add it up, we're too high. So you have to be careful. I recommend such a product, but then please just one and not several, where we don't know if it accumulates.
Yeah.
And whether the substances, I mean, the intake of the substances together, whether that even makes sense?
Yes, that in nature there are actually no problems. When you have a vegetable soup, you also have 10,000 micronutrients in it.
Okay.
They are compatible.
I can't exactly remember which substances it was about specifically, but it was said that you shouldn't necessarily take them at the same time, but rather stagger them.
There are such recommendations, I'm aware of that. It's about magnesium and iron and what should be taken together. There are indeed studies that show that certain minerals interfere with absorption. That is the case when we take large amounts. If I take iron, 100 milligrams, and then another 800 milligrams of magnesium, those are extreme amounts. They can interfere with each other. The amounts we have on the plate or in a mixed product, they are so small, I don't expect any mutual interferences.
Okay, I understand. Good. Then we actually have, well, what we could generally say about supplements. Have we covered everything that was important to you?
Haben wir alles vermittelt, was dir wichtig war?
Yes, I can't give a general rule. No, of course not. It depends on the individual case. But everyone should know that for themselves as well. I need no such multi-products because I really eat a plate of vegetables and salad every day, knowing that there is less in them than 50 years ago. But I consume such amounts of plants that I am still sufficiently supplied.
Okay, good idea.
So someone who also lives like I do doesn't need such products.
Der braucht solche Produkte dann nicht.
But indeed, people who are very one-sided or only noodles and chocolate, then I do highly recommend supplementing porridge.
Okay, good. Okay, then I thank you at this point for the valuable information you brought to us today on the topic of food supplements or Speaker One supplements. And I hope, of course, that it has contributed again to understanding among our audience. Thank you very much, dear Heinz. I'm delighted. Until next time.
You're welcome.
Dear viewers, thank you very much for being with us again and accompanying us through the show. I hope you could take away valuable information again, and I wish you, of course, health for body, mind and soul. Take good care of yourself and feel free to tune in again next time. I would be delighted. Until then, goodbye.
Thank you very much for watching Swiss Health Television QS24. Please also visit Wikisana, register there and watch all these programs without commercial breaks. And please also subscribe to this YouTube channel. This helps not only us, but also the further distribution of our channel. Here is a selection compiled for you. Have fun, all the best, until another time. Goodbye everyone.